Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Hon Akpabio, yesterday testified before the House of Representatives committee hearing on the alleged misuse of funds in the Niger Delta Development Commission. He made an allegation that members of the National Assembly had been the biggest beneficiaries of all contracts awarded by the Commission, raking as much as 60% of the awarded contract. This statement drew instant pushback from members of the committee who were puzzled as to how the minister claimed to know such critical details in an agency. He said he only supervises without any form of hands-on involvement. So joining us now from the Rise Abuja studios, hopefully for greater insights in this, is Hon Sergius Ogun, member of the People's Democratic Party who represents Esa Federal Constituency in Edo State. And welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you. If you can hear me, it's good seeing you once again. I just want you to help us throw more light on what Hon Akpabio said yesterday. It was quite dramatic, because after he said that, all we kept on hearing was, Honorable, it's okay, Honorable, it's okay, it's okay.
Off your mic.
Off your mic, Honorable. That was the response we got. We didn't get a rebuttal. What we got was, Honorable, it's okay, off your mic. Can you help us on this, please?
Well, thank you for having me. I think the process was poorly managed. One of our colleagues took the minister up.
Go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay. One of our colleagues took the minister up, Honorable Boma Goodhead, because he said he was a member of the NDDC committee in the 8th Senate. And she asked clearly, okay, if you were a member of the committee, how many contracts did you get? Then the minister changed to say, okay, no, you guys don't know. He's the chairman. So, like I said, it was poorly managed by the presiding officer in that meeting yesterday. Otherwise, the minister was just throwing things out there, maybe to discredit the National Assembly. But again, that takes us back to the laws in this country. If you follow the Public Procurement Act, there will be no reason for National Assembly members to be doing jobs. I'm in the National Assembly. In 2016, I put a project in my village, in the budget. And I followed it up in NDDC office. They will not implement. 2017, when they came, I went to the committee meeting with the chairman, and I raised the issues, And I said to them, I've been to the office several times, and I will come. And I went to the office, and I met the executive director of project, and he said to me, what do you want? I said, I just want the project done, And guess what? At the end of the day, they gave the project to a company from Akwa Ibom that was not even registered with CSC. And as I speak with you today, that project has not been done. So when the minister is there accusing honorable members of doing 60% of the jobs in NDDC, it's not correct. It's just throwing it out there to discredit the National Assembly. And I think the National Assembly is going to take him up on that.
But
because even yesterday, he couldn't prove that.
You're saying it's not correct, but there was no rebuttal, sir. That's even, you see, the most important thing here is the rebuttal. They just kept murmuring, but there was no rebuttal. So a lot of Nigerians will say it's almost the case. And he went ahead to further say, even the chairman of the committee. But the only rebuttal we heard was what I said earlier.
If you also listen well, although I think that one was a mix-up, one of our colleagues, Honorable Coco, asked him that at the time you said you gave contract to the chairman, these chairmen were not even there. They were just elected, but they were not even chairman of the committee. Then again, he said, no, he's not talking about the chairman. He mentioned, particularly mentioned the current chairman of the committee in the House. That no, he's not mentioning, he's not that guy, he's not Bumi Ojo. So the point that I'm making is, wow. I think the minister came with a mindset to just discredit the National Assembly yesterday. And the people presiding didn't quite manage it well.
Honorable Ogun, I hope you are aware that Nigerians are watching you. The international community is also watching you on this television. Now, it's not only Senator Akpabio. He's not the first person to make that allegation. There has been this allegation over time that many of the members of the National Assembly are part-time contractors. You were trying to reference constituency projects. The issue at stake is not constituency project. The issue is about members of the National Assembly using their positions to set up companies and then using those companies to collect jobs, if you like, contracts for their own personal benefits from government ministries, departments, and agencies. Now, the French will say entre nous, between us. Now, just look at my face and tell us and our viewers that this is not true, that everybody in the National Assembly is just there to serve Nigerians, and that we do not have contractors in the National Assembly. Is that what you are saying?
Dr. Ruben Abati, how can I speak for everybody?
Okay.
Can you speak, even you, in your
From your
house,
experience, you've been in the National Assembly.
I can speak for myself. Yes, from my experience. I just told you now, the project I mentioned that I put in the budget, in NDDC budget, was not a constituency project. It was a project, because I'm from the Niger Delta, and I put a project there. And I just told you what played out. I went to the office, the DP said to me, what do you want? I said, this project is in my village. So I just want a job, a good contractor to do the job. I'm in National Assembly. I came from the oil and gas, and that's where I will go back to. I haven't registered any company to do business with government because I don't even know how to do business with government. So I can speak for myself, and that's why I gave you an example of myself. The NDDC project, I spoke with the EDP, then the MD then, Dr. Ekere, I wanted the job, I was told, to a company in Akwa Ibom that was not even registered with CSC. Until today, the job has not been done.
But what have
That's
you
just an
observed?
example. I'm a National Assembly member.
What have you observed? I mean, you can talk about yourself, but you've been part of a community. Are there contractors in the National Assembly? People who are just there to do business, not to represent Nigerians. Just tell us the truth.
How will I know that? How will I know? How will I know? I can only speak about myself. The point is, it's so easy to come out and say these things, and we have become a laughing stock, in the rest of the world. If anything like this is happening, what stops the agencies from investigating? And secondly, we have a Public Procurement Act in this country. If we are following this, it's predicated on the fact that the lowest bidder should win a job. So if you put in a bid, if you advertise a project and you put in a bid and the lowest bidder is going to win, how can a National Assembly member bring a company and that company will win, or suggest a company and the company will win? It shows that the act is not working. So maybe we should look into that. Who are those that are saddled with the responsibility of managing the process? Granted, the National Assembly will oversight, but there's an act.
Okay, I think I prefer your last statement where you say perhaps we should check the act because it might not be working, and not that it doesn't exist, that lawmakers are also people who bid their companies to take these contracts, because we have seen them. We have seen investigations revealed that lawmakers sometimes have companies and interests, conflict of interest in these contracts that are awarded. But let me ask you, because you said yesterday's hearing was poorly managed. I think that there's enough blame to go around. But as a lawmaker, and one who has been also at the national level, how should the National Assembly be responding to Minister Akpabio's allegations of yesterday? 60% is huge.
Like I said, the minister just came and he threw that up to distract Nigerians. And what are we doing? We are here today discussing it. Okay, if he also said, because I remember somebody raised a question, one of my colleagues raised a question of the executive director of projects is a medical doctor. Mm-hmm. He said 60% of the NDDC budget is on medical. So who else should head as executive director? Who should be the head of executive director of projects? A medical doctor. So now again, after that, maybe he has something with 60%. 60% of the projects goes to National Assembly. But if these projects are advertised and the lowest bidder is supposed to win the job, and the minister is saying that, should he not be cooling his feet in jail right now? Yeah, because you bypass the Public Procurement Act and you are giving jobs to National Assembly members. Is that their work? You are there to represent the people. Granted, you can influence job to your constituency. But to say you are now the contractor, even in the first case, if you say we are really fighting corruption in this country, there is CAC. You can unveil any company and know the owners of the company. So I'm even disappointed that we are discussing this on national television.
But my question really was how the National Assembly should be responding to these grave allegations against them. I mean, you've dealt enough with how Minister Akpabio just came to distract everyone yesterday. But my question is, how should the National Assembly respond? As a lawmaker, you would know the processes. How should they respond?
Yeah, I'm sure the spokesperson of the House will speak, and maybe also the Senate. Maybe there is going to be a committee to review all his allegations yesterday. But we'll take it from there.
All right. Honorable Sergius Ogun, I'm shocked that you said that you know, you can only speak for yourself, you can't speak for her. That's fine. But I'm shocked. You know why I said so? Recently, if you go through the dailies, there was a damning report by the ICPC. The ICPC monitors over 424 constituency projects, and they saw massive corruption on the part of lawmakers and how they handled even their constituency projects, how they used companies and cronies to get all these things to themselves. Close to about 1 trillion was the figure put to that. So after that ICPC report, is it not sort of like a norm among lawmakers with projects and the likes? If you say in this case, I can't speak about that, about my colleagues. But what about the ICPC reports? Or is the ICPC wrong about that investigation?
Again, Rufai, I take you back to the Magu trial right now. As a nation, like I said earlier on, the whole world is laughing at us. If you say the hunter has become the hunted, why is he not being charged? If Mr. Magu, if there's anything against Mr. Magu, why is there a panel in the presidency that's chatting with him? Because when EFCC arrests you, what happens? They charge you to court. The last time we had a similar experience, it was the former secretary to government. They set up a panel. So why are different rules applied? So I said that to answer this. If ICPC is laying claims, they went out. Let me even shock you a bit. ICPC goes out to inspect those projects. Who pays for it? You guys are the media people. Go and investigate who pays ICPC to investigate those projects. It's not coming from their budget. Okay, you said something about 1 trillion. That's what the president said. And then the National Assembly, the House of Reps, set up a committee of unspent funds. Wherever the president got that 1 trillion from, we don't know. Because most times the constituency projects are not funded 100%. The 2019 was funded 50%. The one for 2020 is going to be 50%. So if the total budget was 1 trillion and you are funding 60%, 50%, how could they have spent 1 trillion? So people just come out and talk. And we pick it up from there. We should go back and fact check what these people are saying. So if ICPC went out to inspect constituency projects, and they were talking about the honorable members are the owners of have provided companies to do these jobs, why are you not trying them? Why are you not investigating them? Why are you not charging them to court? Talk is cheap. Why come out and just say it? What have you achieved by saying that? I will want you to say you came to my constituency, you inspected my project, and it's my company that did it. So for that reason, you are charging me to court because I have breached the law. So by coming out to say it, what have you achieved? Are you saying that your hands are tied or you are powerless? So I don't buy that cheap blackmail. I have projects in my constituency. ICPC came to inspect it, and they gave kudos to the project. There are other projects that I wrote in the budget, I wrote to the ministries, and those projects, contractors came from Abuja, they didn't do them well. And I have written to those ministries to say, if they do not come back to fix this project, I'm going to write to ICPC, I'll write to EFCC. And some of the complaints I got was that even the contractors have not been paid. I said, that is not enough. If you do a rural road and there's supposed to be a covenant, and you don't do it at all, only one rainfall, you will cut that road.
Okay, let's look at other issues.
I didn't know those companies. I didn't know those companies from anywhere.
Let's look at other issues. It's very clear that you are not likely to indict your own colleagues or the conduct of members of the National Assembly. But the NDDC is in the news, and there are persons who, on the basis of what is in the public domain, have said it should be scrapped. There's even an NGO from the northern part of the country that is saying not just the NDDC, even the Northeast Development Commission should also be scrapped, because these development commissions have become vehicles for graft. What are your thoughts? What have you seen? And do you think that those development commissions should be scrapped? And what do you think government should do beyond just saying the ICPC or the EFCC should investigate people? Because we've seen that that doesn't quite solve the problem, ultimately.
I think the government is the problem. When they set up these commissions, what do they have behind their mind? If you look at the NDDC Act, Section 7.1 spells out clearly the objective of NDDC. Section 7, sub 3, talks about the power of the president to appoint and to preside over that. Now, he has a supervisory minister who is supervising NDDC. I don't see those powers here in the Act. So it's an aberration. The Act talks clearly, Section 8, about the powers of the board, giving direction to the MD, managing director, although even though the managing director is going to be appointed by the president. But now you have a minister that is like the MD, CEO, chief accounting officer. So that's where we have the contradictions. Even the Northeast Commission you just mentioned, you go and check clearly. What I heard last time is with their budget, they are buying grains for farmers. Is that why that commission was set up? So I think maybe again, this comes back to the National Assembly. We have powers in Section 88, 89 of the Constitution to oversight, to check corruption. So maybe we should oversight these people and not even listen to whatever is happening in NDDC today. It is claimed that we are witch hunting. And I have said it. If my job is to be a witch hunter in chief, why should anybody accuse me of doing my job? If that is what Nigerians have hired, my constituents have hired me to do. So I don't think we should even listen to that. So I go back again. Sack everybody, scrap the commission, will not solve the problem. Because the foundation is weak. If the foundation be weak, there's nothing that can stand on that foundation. Now, how many boards have we had in the NDDC? Now, we've had so many administrators and interim administrations. It's all the same. Why can't we advertise the job of the managing director of NDDC and the two other executive directors recognized by the Act? Why can't we advertise it? And get Nigerians from the Niger Delta, from anywhere in the world, to come and manage it. Why can't we do that? The first managing director, Omene, left Shell, retired from Shell, and came to work in NDDC. Go and check the record of Omene against all these other men, all these other people that have come in. The government deliberately gives that commission to certain individuals who will sit there in their office and arrange for people to go there and work and bring money for them. I'm not accusing anybody here. Cast your mind back to the last board. The MD was going to run for governor of Akpabio. The person that brought the EDP was going to run for governor of Delta State. And the one that brought the executive director of finance was going to run for governor of River State. The last board that was screened by the Senate, that is still on hold, the chairman is from my state. He was a candidate in the primaries that took place in June. We are told that the person that brought the MD, nominated the MD, wants to run as Delta State governor. So how can the president be aware of this and you allow it to go ahead and you say you are fighting corruption? It's laughable.
Two quick questions. We had a guest earlier Comrade Joseph Eva, who's also from the region. And he was saying, you know, perhaps the biggest mistake and the root cause of all of this we are seeing now is because the president took that decision to take the commission from the presidency and domicile it at the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. He thinks that's a mistake. Do you also think it was a mistake? And would that be the correction? Because you were talking about the foundation being wrong. And secondly, as a representative of the people of a member state of the region, Edo State, does the allegations and counter-allegations and the financial recklessness, the corruption, and just the wanton amount of money spent on nothing on the commission come to you as a surprise?
Well, it doesn't, because, again, like I said, there's a commission in place that has a board, that has a managing director. The board has powers. Or now you have a managing director taking instructions from the villa or the presiding minister. Where are the functions of the board? That's what happened in EFCC. You keep hearing of the acting chairman or chairman of EFCC. There is a board in place. The last time we heard of the NWC of APC, the chairman was like a sole administrator. But there's supposed to be a NEC that will meet quarterly. There's supposed to be board of trustees that was not inaugurated for 2 years. So when you have a chairman of a party just running the place as a sole administrator, whatever happened there was bound to happen. So that's the same way most of these commissions are being run. I'm saying it shouldn't be. If there's a board that should give direction to the managing director, that managing director should report to the board. And the board should also report to the presidency that set them all up. Then we also don't audit our books. In the private sector, you audit your books annually. How come federal government parastatals, the MDAs, they don't audit their books? Because that's how billions, that's why you can wake up one day and say, we are losing billions. In 3 months, you are talking about spending 80-something billion. If you know there's going to be an audit that year, you will do the right thing. You have government agencies that are just running for years without audit. Who does that anywhere in the world? So I go back to what I said earlier. We are not serious about corruption. We are just mouthing it. It's a lip service. If we really want to serve this country, and let's forget about talking about fighting corruption, just serve and do the right thing, most of these things won't be happening. You can't set up a commission and you put a chairman there who is working with the minister that is not recognized in the act, and you expect everything is going to be okay when you have given that whole commission to the minister to do whatever he wants to do. And yet, we expect magic. Like I read section 7.1, specify clearly the functions, the objective behind setting up NDDC for the region. Now we are talking about spending 5-point-something billion on water hyacinth. There's a plan here for master plan of the region. And that plan, that master plan is already in place. We should be talking about how far have we gone in that master plan. If today we are talking about 1-point-something billion for COVID, for members of the NDDC to take care of themselves, like my colleagues asked, now in all we are saying now, that is, we have drowned that. A member asked that question yesterday. Give us the line item in the budget that approved, that allowed you to spend 1.3 billion on taking care of yourselves. That's before the MD had his medical issues. Okay. And they said, I will get back to you on that.
Okay, real quickly, if you can hear me. A lot of people have argued that the NDDC should be scrapped. And that has been the argument because it's just been that pool of corruption all this while from the days of Umpadek. What will you suggest should be, should the MDDC be scrapped? Should it be left alone? What should be the new mechanism of developing the Niger Delta? Should they give the funds to the lawmakers, to go back as constituency part and develop their communities in the Niger Delta? I mean, what should be the new mechanism to develop in the region? Quickly, briefly.
Yeah, I thought I already answered that. Okay. The act as it stands today is not working for the people. But I've also said that a situation where a president sits there in Abuja.
There are people who say that, look, the oversight by the House of Reps or the National Assembly will amount to nothing. Do you agree? And that even the forensic
audit will not, but I mean, there are revelations coming out. I mean, I don't know about that, but there are revelations coming out. Nigerians will hold us responsible with what we do with the information that's coming out. So if I go back to answer the question of whether NDDC should be scrapped, it should not be scrapped. But I'm saying the foundation is faulty. You cannot sit there in Abuja as the president and appoint somebody, and then you put a presiding minister who, to the knowledge of the president, wants to run for whatever office, and he's there running the place as a sole administrator. The very act setting up NDDC does not even allow that. So the point I am making is, why can't you advertise the position of the MD, Executive Director of Projects, Executive Director of Finance? Those positions are recognized in the act. Why can't you advertise it?
Your point is very clear, Honorable Sergius Ogun. Thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today. We look forward to seeing you again some other time.